Welcome to the morning call, everyone. It's a great midweek Wednesday, we call it. The fourth day of the week, of course, going by the Gregorian calendar. This is Abuja, Nigeria's capital. We welcome you very specially to today's edition of the morning call. I am Uyi Agmofwegbe.
And I'm Moreno Haniel. This is a very beautiful morning with the peace accord signed yesterday.
You're glowing over peace accord that you did not even attend.
No, it's a way forward, man.
Right.
It's a way forward. The peace accord signed yesterday and a breakthrough in a maritime agency with the United States. I think it's a very good midweek for us today in Nigeria. Having to wake up with good news, not waking up, though we woke up with sad news with banditry and killings up in here, but at least it's a bit balanced with a few good news in our economy, a few good news in our political story, in our political area, and I think the rest of the week is going to be amazing.
I mean, I want to just pitch my tent with you on that one, because whether you like it or not, for a country that has been, if you like, beating black and blue, no thanks to insecurity, we should be grateful for every piece of good news that comes through. Of course, yesterday was, if you like, eventful. We can say history is in the making, even though we know this is not the first, and we do believe it's not going to be the last time we've had to sign a peace accord. But we do hope the political actors themselves would adhere strictly. I intently listened to the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, who apparently represented President Bola Tinubu at the event. Well, there's also the conversation of why did the president come?
Yes, himself.
We'll get to that in a bit. But you see, politicians now need to, more than ever before, move beyond rhetorics. That means that, as they say, talk is cheap, right? You must do something spectacularly different from talking. Everybody can talk, but who takes responsibility? And just a quick rundown of some of the highlights, all right, regarding the speech by the SGF. He said, look, people can disagree when it comes to politics. People can be on different sides, opposing sides. There can be divergence, but we must take responsibility for our choice of words. We must also know that we can't burn down the country with very toxic narratives just because we want to win an election. Look at Oshun, for example. You and I were here 2 weeks ago. Oshun. Today is behind us. The winner has emerged. Whether you go to court or not, it doesn't change the fact that INEC, as of today, has already announced the winner. Who knows? In the course of this week, certificate of return is likely going to be presented to Incumbent Governor Ademola Adeleke. So what it means is we must realize that beyond the election, life goes on. It's about the people. On the final note. And there was an ambassador, one of the envoys from Europe, who spoke yesterday, talked about how that there's so much on the desk of INEC in terms of this election in 2027. While on the one hand, we have people who are saying INEC has done fantastically well with the Osun election and the conduct of the process. INEC must now realize that life has just begun, in the manner of speaking. They say a journey of 1,000 kilometers. Was it miles? I don't know how to measure it. It's still miles now, right?
Yes,
I thought it was
kilometers.
kilometers. All right. Begins with a step. So INEC has taken some steps. We can call those steps baby steps. But 2027 will determine whether or not INEC wants to be an adult.
Yeah, not just baby steps, successful baby steps.
I agree.
And they can only improve because Osun is just one state and it's not among the largest states in the country.
Totally
so
true.
Now they should really strengthen up because 2027 is going to be a whole lot more. It's like this is nursery school, they should not celebrate yet.
Right.
As much
You're
as
saying they should patiently work hard to bag a PhD, right?
You know, that kind of, because they're getting there.
Right.
They're getting there. They have to go to the PhD level, So they have successfully finished Osun State, and they have given everyone a piece of what they can do. But this should be replicated in all the states. When you have to meet states like Kano, Borno State, and in a metropolis like Lagos, they have to, they have to sit up properly. They have done a good job, but they should not, at the end of the day, keep, you know how they say, living on past glory.
Right.
But we did it in Osun, and that's all they have to say.
So what are you doing going forward?
Yes, they should, especially on the beavers.
Yeah.
For whatever they've done successfully, they should improve on it again. For whatever they've done wrong, they should go back to the table and really strengthen that part. they've done a very good job, but they can do a lot better because we are coming to a whole country now. It's going to be a lot more complicated.
Well, what more can I add to that? But just to also highlight that flooding has become a challenge for not just Nigeria as a whole, excuse me, but in this case, particularly for Abuja. Now, what makes that peculiar is the fact that Abuja evidently is Nigeria's capital city. There's the fear that if nothing is done urgently and drastically, Abuja may become one of those states in our dear nation where flooding is not only a menace, but an existential threat. What are the implications? First of all, Abuja has a master plan, like most major cities. There's the fear now, even from critical stakeholders, that that master plan for the city is not being defaced, has already started being defaced, right? I remember there was a beauty collapse in Gwarinpa. I can't remember if it was 6th Avenue or something, but I was on the ground to cover February of 2023. And we realized that just driving through to the sites where the collapse had happened, right, you could practically see people building on green areas. I'm like, hold on a second. I'm not a climate expert, but I wasn't born last night. You don't build on green areas. So the question is, who approved for those? These are not just makeshift buildings. They are not let's get by kind of buildings. These are structured buildings intentionally put on the ground. So by whose authorities were those designs, those buildings approved? What would happen, or I should say, what has happened in the last 3 years since I was last there? In fact, 3 years and 6 months precisely now. I'm saying that to say that, you see, somebody said, if you don't have a market for stolen items, the incidences of theft will drastically reduce, right? So if you don't have some bad eggs within the authorities in the FCDA, for example, approving maybe through a black market approach or whatever it is, all these buildings, I'm not sure we're going to have them. We may not know the implications because for the most part, for whatever reason, we're probably just being blown away by the magnificence of these buildings. But we don't look beyond the surface to realize that it's a ticking time bomb. And the problem with that is when it starts going down, as they say, we may not even have, as it were, the focus. We may not have the strength and the resources to be able to deal with the impact, especially now that we're talking about across the world, climate change and its impacts all over the world. And you are asking yourself, does Nigeria even understand the conversation that is going on right now?
I think it's getting worse here because the buildings are so dense, are so heavy. Then they are not according to plan. I don't know how it is. For a while, you will think a very highbrow area like Asokoro would not be flooded.
Right.
But during the rains, which was not so much,
even as of yesterday,
Asokoro was flooded.
Right.
There are some areas that are not, you could think, I mean, you pay through your nose to live in those areas, and you find out that have been flooded. And the population is not as much as Lagos.
Right. So what's the problem?
So what is the problem? Is it the plan? Is it the drainage systems? Is it wrong planning? Abuja needs to check. If other states are getting it wrong and NIMET is telling them, look, like Enugu and Kaduna,
Edo and the others,
and it's telling them, look, your government has to have a plan because there will be flood in so and so areas. Abuja, as a capital city of Nigeria, is not, even if it is going to face such problems, should be maybe at the ends, at the extreme ends, at the suburbs. Well, how many suburbs do you have?
Not in the city center.
Not in the city center, but in a place like Asokoro, which is like, you understand, it's a highbrow area, number one. Then secondly, is at the middle of where almost every liaison office in the country is. Yes, Asokoro. If you can have flood in Asokoro, then every other place should also check themselves. So I think it is an emergency for the FCT to really check in with what the problem is. And going back to other states too, states too should also take to NIMET's warnings against flooding, because when there's a flooding, there's an economic shift.
Right.
So many things are, you will actually think nothing is going to go wrong, but monies you are supposed to put in different places are going to different places now. and people are not having the ability to purchase what they are supposed to. So the economic turnover is actually very, very slim. So please, I think we should take the warnings from NIMET very, very seriously, because the rains are getting more.
That's right. You know, it's interesting and very timely too that you mentioned NIMET now, right? NIMET is doing an amazing work. You can't take that away. Advisory after advisory. But I sit here as a Nigerian, first of all, I'm asking myself, does NIMET, as a very critical agency of government, stop at dishing out advisories? Does NIMET take it at least a step further to liaise, to work, to, if you like, synergize with state governments? To say, look, we already have an advisory out that says X, Y, Z about your state. The level of flooding that is imminent. Imminent is the operative word. It's not as if it might happen, might not happen. It's imminent. That means it's guaranteed to happen. We've also advised to say, look, you need to move people up states, sort of, all right, because they will be adversely impacted by the flooding that's coming. Does NIMET guide these states, for want of better words? Does it provide more resources, not in terms of funding, but in terms of technical support? Because NIMET has some of the finest human resources, infrastructure, if you like, all of data and what have you to support these states. Because these states, I mean, we may not like this, are headed by politicians who may not be strategic enough, may not be in the right headspace to understand what the issues are within the framework of these advisories that NIMET continues to advance to them. We've seen, for example, cases where NIMET would mention as many as 26 states. Of those 26 states, top to bottom, how many of the governors are even listening to NIMET? How many of them take NIMET seriously? Governors are already campaigning. By way of coincidence, very pleasant one, campaign starts officially today, all thanks to INEC and to the benefit of politicians. So at this point in time, which governor from one end of the country to another is going to be taking NIMET's advisory seriously? So politicians will prioritize their campaigns, their rallies, their consultations beyond and over everything else. But we do hope that at some point in time, we get back to reprioritize, like you said, rethink this whole thing and understand that the environment is first about human beings before anything else. And where you do not have human beings or human beings who are healthy enough, who are stable enough, you're probably not going to be talking elections going forward.
NIMET. I think NIMET has done, like you said, a good job.
Right.
Even if you go meet the politicians now, because, okay, they tell you this bridge will collapse.
In 6 years, for example.
Okay, this bridge will collapse. Let's say in 6 months.
Right.
You want the same people that told you the bridge will collapse should come and tell you steps to take. You are to go and meet them. So what do I do for this bridge not to collapse?
So you're saying the state governments have to do their bits?
They have, besides the governors, there are other people that take us. There are commissioners, they are advisors.
Ministries of Environment across all the states.
You know, so these are the people that should take responsibility.
Urban and regional planning.
Yes, but because checks and balances, because when these things happen, I remember in my state it happened. The governor was there at midnight by himself. To start dragging out people from water before. It was, so the governor is so loved. You know, he went in by himself and people came to help. And when he heard, and as they were helping, he was helping too. Before the emergency agencies came around. You know, so besides the governor himself cannot do, these agencies, these people responsible for environmental factors in the state should also take responsibility. This is part of their jobs.
Right. Okay. In fact, this is why they were appointed into office.
So we are here, NIMET, we heard you. Because NIMET goes around to tell them the areas, not just the state, the areas that will be affected. Okay, I heard area B, C, Z will be affected. What can we do there?
Right.
Then you take responsibility. Not that when election time comes, you go to that same environment
to campaign.
Yes, because there was a woman in that flood that lost 2 children.
So pathetic.
2 children. Like, she saw them going away, and there was nothing she could do.
Washed away by water.
Washed away. Her newborn child and her first child, 2 sons, were washed away. She saw them going. There was nothing she could do about it. That you want her to elect you again. You know. So now talking about waters, the breakthrough at the Maritime was so interesting yesterday. Now that we can actually move our things and move to the US freely now that the restriction has been taken up. I think I was clapping for Nigeria. I said that is good. The 12-year ban has been lifted up, and costing us less,
right,
and proper planning, and I think it's a good breakthrough. The president was there to really celebrate with them.
I hope somebody's not going to end up saying the president made that his priority number one.
No, it was a 12-year ban.
Right.
So it was lifted up.
It was worth his presence.
It was worth his presence.
All right. Now you are hearing from Moreno, so take that to the bank. All right. A lot to talk about. And experts will be joining us this morning to look at climate change, the angle of policy on the part of Nigerian governments, and whether or not we're jumping on global conversation regarding the impact of these phenomena. All of that will begin from Abuja, Nigeria's capital, in the course of our interaction on the program this morning. First, we'll take a break. When we return, we'll look at papers for you. Please stay with us.
Watch Skyline News on MyComSat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app, available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
You can watch Skyline News on NightComSat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app, available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
Watch Skyline News on NightComSat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app, available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
watch Skyline News on Nightcomsat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app, available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
Watch Skyline News on MyComSat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app, available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
You can watch Skyline News on Nightcomsat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app, available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skyline.
All right, thank you everyone for staying with us on the morning call. Let's bring you headlines from the papers this morning. The Guardian is takeoff points. All right, top left corner has a picture. First Lady Senator Oluremi Tinubu says Tinubu unveils Ogun Food Bank as ADC berates federal government over living costs. Could this be some sort of, if you like, interventionist approach to dealing with the pressure coming with the prices of food? Who knows? But details are on page 3. Obi seeks end to killings as fresh attacks claim over 58 lives in Sokoto, Benue, Plateau. Moreno made some passing reference to that a while ago, right? It dampens joy, quite frankly. Page 3, again, is where you find those details. 2027, INEC projects over 100 million registered voters to deploy 1.4 million adult staff. It's all looking good now, at least in theory, but let's continue to put in the work so we can have the best of outcomes. The Star headline says, candidates, parties doubt peace accord as election campaigns begin. All right. Ezekwesili budgets task federal government on £764 million UK ports deal review, fiscal transparency, part of the core pillars of President Bola Tinubu's visit to Windsor Castle a few months ago, where he met with King Charles III, also had his own time with the immediate Prime Minister. And now Fund stands 45-day deadline for student loan payouts. Things are moving up. South Africa rejects xenophobic tag as more Nigerians return home. You know, my people say it is one thing for a child to have big teeth, like have big set of teeth, right? But you've got to grow the lips that are big enough to cover it. So you can't start what you can't finish. We'll leave it at that, okay? And what's more, federal government, states, local governments share 3 trillion as July revenue rises by 658.087 billion naira. Governors should know that we are listening and we are following. All right, those are on page 5 by way of details. And finally, on the foot of the front page, FCCPC finds probable cause to probe cement producers for price manipulation. One headline says possible price fixing. Now, you know, price fixing in itself is unethical, almost like a crime, right? Those are all the headlines we have from The Guardian this morning. We have a couple more headlines. Okay, should come in my direction. Nigerian Tribune is next for you.
Okay, the Nigerian Tribune at the top there says federal government, state, local government share 3 trillion naira for July. Like we said, we're watching.
A lot of money.
We're watching. You know, for all those states that are having excuses not to pay salaries, we're watching. Now, we find out more of that details in page 7 of the Nigerian Tribune. Residents allege ripoff as cooking gas sells for 1,500 per kg in Lagos and Ogun. That's so much for cooking gas. It has been fluctuating for a while. FCCPC finds possible price manipulation in Nigerian cement market. There's going to be a lot of investigation in that regard. Find that in page 6. Now, major headline here says INEC projects over 100 million registered voters for 2027 poll. Come with a lot of riders there. So you find more of that in page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. We are committed to accord principle, says Tinubu. All right, down there you find Osun APC Goba candidate Oyebamiji calls for calm, raises alarm over attacks on supporters. That's always the aftermath in an election in Nigeria. So down underneath says, UI Unilag led Nigerian versus in global ranking. There's always been Unilag. I hope one day it comes to the northern part.
Well, one region at a time, I guess.
One region. It has always been that region. All right. Down on health, it says DRC Ebola outbreak spreading at unprecedented rate. WHO warned. They have been warning this about the Ebola incident.
Incidentally, DRC is the hotspots of some kind.
Yes, and they said the way it's spreading these days is much more than it has done in the last 2 years. So next says off-cycle elections, influx of governors, others poses threat to Nigeria's democracy. Jonathan. He's an elder statesman now, so he has the right to advise.
One who 1 minute we're told is going to run for president in 2027. The next minute, well, the man is not speaking up for himself.
You know, at the point in time, he said, when late President Buhari was alive, he said, when he was asked, will he run for president? He said, I'm of age now, let's leave it for the children. And I was touched. Anyway, so lastly here it says 24 killed, many missing, others injured in fresh Plateau attacks. Plateau again. We'll read more of that attack in page 28 of the Nigerian Tribune. That's all we have for the Nigerian Tribune.
All right. This day newspaper is where we move to next. Above the nameplate, one headline that is quite replicated across dailies today. Dangote Refinery secures $1 billion backing ahead of planned IPO. The IPO is becoming like a national event now. A deal comprises completed funded $600 million private placement, $400 million on the rights and commitment. Transaction reflects confidence in refinery's strategic role, says Africa's richest man. All right, you move it down further. Cement prices. FCCPC opens probe over alleged market manipulation amid excess production capacity. One rider with it, Tunji Bello, intervention not to dictate commercial decisions, but protect competitive process, right? This is quite a serious aspect of a sector that has been deregulated. Winners and losers, as Adeleke dances back to Okefia House. It dances back, right? Well,
dancing governor.
What can we say? Those are the headlines from this day today. Just take a look at details for yourself. Next is the Vanguard newspaper.
All right, at the top of the Vanguard, there's a U.S. lifts 12-year entry restriction on Nigerian vessels. Good news for us. You read more of that in page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper. IBB, IGP, Ike Nwachukwu, Osoba, Obai Bena, others for Vanguard at 40 book launch today. More of that on page 8. Tapped in your vehicle, Lagos roads turned into extortion jungle. The governor last week said he's going to do a lot on that, and people will be lifted up that are doing the extortion. Now, major headline here says, high hurdles before candidate parties. This is
that's as regards 2027 campaigns, right?
The campaigns have begun, so a lot of riders come with it. So we're getting to the campaign proper. Now, underneath there it says 24 killed, many injured in fresh Plateau attack. Women protest killings as 24 victims receive mass burial. Another writer says, don't lift Nigeria's CPC designation after Plateau killing, says U.S. Congressman. You find more of that in page 7. A sad note, waking up in Plateau State this morning. Underneath there it says, stay away from off-cycle elections. Jonathan tells governors, powerful politicians.
Right.
Yeah. So we saw it in the previous newspaper too. So you read more of that in page 9. Breach honorary degree rules. Face 2-year ban. NUC won Vastus. Well, there's been a foul play recently in the university. So.
Yes, NUC is very clear with this new move. Whether you call it a policy position or a directive of the regulator, which is the NUC. What he's saying is very simple. If Moreno Haniel backs a PhD because she has studied for it, it's academic. She can be Dr. XYZ. But however, if it's honorary, you have to indicate HC, honorary Kusa, because that's how it works. But of course, Nigerians, Africans and titles and all of that. But I'm sure if NUC puts his foot down over time, people will be flogged the line.
They should be. They should be. Now, if I move that on page 37, in case you're having a HC too.
Right.
High cost of cement. FCCPC probes possible price manipulation. This has been the headlines all round. So you read the whole of it in the Vanguard newspaper. Then next we have the Daily Trust.
All right, let's begin from the top right of it. It says, immorality. Dati Baba Ahmed replies Shawore. That drama, as I'd like to call it, is on page 3. All right. How I escaped meal that killed my fellow Majurai. Quite a touching story on page 25. Atiku absent as party's candidate signed peace accord. I'm sure the president now will say to himself, I wasn't the only one after all. All right, SCTA begins demolition as encroachment spreads. It's not only encroachment that's spreading, there's something worse, which is flooding. All right, those are basically the headlines, of course. Former head of state, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, is celebrating 85, and President Tinubu says he has done so much for this country. Quite interesting. All right, but those details are on the Daily Trust newspaper. Let's go take a look at the Punch real quick.
At the top of the Punch newspaper says that 6 states budget jump 47% to 40 trillion, capital spending falls. All right, you find more of that in page 19. Well, find out. So at the middle there is a federal government State Council shares record 3 trillion in July. It's been replicated. Salary crisis. NLC warns of fresh health sector strike in the country.
Sounds scary already.
It's very scary. But this is not the first time the health sector is going on strike.
Of course.
I remember there was a time they said, if you don't want the salary, you can go out. Other people's are there to replace to show you how.
In fact, there was even the threat of no work, no pay. The government said it was going to trigger that. Yeah.
So now, beside the punch there, it says off-cycle polls. Jonathan decries government's show of force. All right, that's an advice coming from a former president. Now, major headline says Tinubu Obi others sign peace pact as campaign begins today. 3 riders there. Tinubu warns against ethnic religious politics. Obi demands issue-based campaign. Second one says Atiku Makinde absent as candidate pledge violence-free polls. All right. The third one says INEC deploys 1.4 million ad hoc staff for the 2027 poll, raises the alarm of misinformation. Okay. So you read more of that on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Down there it says Nigerians pay more for cement than African neighbors, says the FCCPC. They are going to investigate further. Right. Now, NDLEA nabs alleged cocaine baron fleeing to Paris. NDLEA has been doing a lot of work when it comes to that. As a few days ago, it got some drugs worth over 300 billion.
Right.
You know, so no alliance. Adeleke denies ADC's role in re-election. Yeah, there'll be a lot. There'll be aftermath of the election, but Adeleke has won. He has won. So,
I think that's the finality of it.
Yes. So we go to the next newspaper, which is Business Day, and final.
Well, let's look at the last paper for you as we follow the money on Business Day today. Top left, Nigeria's $700 million maritime rescue fund courts in approval maze. How do we make sense of that? You would have to read it on page 30. What's more, CBN's new OMO rules to drive rates hold despite cooling inflation. And the Star headline, Nigeria's 2027 race pits economic reforms against costs of living pain. So it's no longer a case of one or the other. All right. Economy insecurity, debt crisis dominates as campaigns begin today. Tinubu, Atiku, Obi lead crowded presidential race. I think that word is a bit striking, crowded, like saying the market is saturated. Okay, so it turns out the Business Day is not crowded with headlines this morning. So this is where we leave it off, and we do hope you will read up details beyond these headlines we presented to you. We're also using this medium to remind all of our viewers that we do not contribute here as Skyline News to these headlines or their details. We just present only the headlines from across the front pages, the same way just as the respective publishers have put them out there. We'll take a break. We'll go sporting afterwards. Please stay with us.
TV.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
Watch Skyline News on Nightcomsat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app, available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
You can watch Skyline News on Nightcomsat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app, available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
Watch Skyline News on Nightcomsat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app, available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
You can watch Skyline News on Nightcomsat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app, available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
Watch Skyline News on Nightcomsat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app, available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
You can watch Skyline News on Nightcomsat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app, available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
Good morning and welcome to Kickoff on Skyline TV. Today we have a fresh package for you where the NFF President Ibrahim Gusau has been awarded as a sport icon, a football sport icon. And equally, there is a signing of a new coach of Senegal. Patrick Vieira is given the role of a head coach in Senegal football men's team. Mr. Augustine with me as a co-host.
Good morning, Amisu.
Good morning. So we have just heard that the NFF boss has been given an award.
Yes, I was surprised. I was surprised that it's a good thing. Award is a good thing. If you are doing something and then you are not awarded, that means you are not doing anything. But it's a good thing for the NFF boss to receive award. Alhaji Ibrahim Gusau. Now he was given award by the Blueprint newspaper. Do you get? Award of excellency. Do you get? Award of what he has done in the football sector. That was why they gave him that award. Do you get? It's something to be talked about, to be like happy, but I still want to say something. The same NFF that sacked Super Falcons coach and the crew of Super Falcons, you are giving him award. Now he's saying the management of the Super Falcons, the crew of the Super Falcons, they've done nothing. And then you are giving him award. Onto what you are giving him award?
Football icon award.
That's why I said I actually praised the award, but onto what? Football icon award. Like what? The Super Falcons did not qualify for World Cup 2027. The Super Eagles did not go to this. They just concluded World Cup 2026. Are you getting it? Wafu were defeated. Finals. Do you get? Under 20 Wafu B were defeated. Do you get? Now what are you saying? When it comes to basketball, the under 18 and the Tigers were defeated by Malians. And then when you come to the under 18 basketball junior Tigers, they did not go anywhere. They just went for 9th position. And then you want to give him award. You are giving him this award for last year. If it is last year, yes, you are supposed to give him award last year. Yes, give him that award. I said yes, because our Super Falcon won the 2024 edition. But this 2026 edition, they went out without any medals. They did not even qualify. And then you are giving them, you are giving him award. Like Blueprint newspaper giving him award of what? Icon. Like, I don't get it. Do you understand? I don't get it. When election is coming, you are giving him award. Why? Why do you want to give him award for? Yes, it's a nice thing. I told you, I said I was very happy when they gave him the award. But this year, giving NFF President Award doesn't worth it. It doesn't worth it at all.
It doesn't worth it.
Yes.
Those are your words.
Yes.
It doesn't worth it. But maybe the award wasn't just given for just the single year. Maybe it was reversed with the former year.
That's what I'm saying. If it were like last year, no doubt. 2024, no doubt. We did well. The Super Falcons did well, for it. And then the Super Eagles did the same thing. They did well too. But I am telling you, it is not for last year. It is not for 2024. It is 2026, this year. And then this month, when they want to do what? Election. They should be talking about how to do election, not giving him award. Now, if you are giving him award, it's like, yes, oh, you are telling Nigerians, or you are telling fans, you are telling everybody that, oh, this man needs to stay because he has done well. That's why they gave him award. Once you are giving award, you are good.
Let's not just focus the lens on the WAFU and other loss we have. Let's focus on some of the achievements the National Federation actually achieved.
Amisu, let me tell you, I did not see any achievements, like any achievement in the football sector within like this year. No achievement. So if you want to give somebody, it should be, you are giving somebody first position. It's first semester, first term, not last year. Now, from January till August, that you gave him award of best, what am I going to call it? You are giving him award. From January to August, what has NFF achieved? What has NFF president achieved in the time, in terms of football? That's what you should be saying, not past glory. Look at it from January till August. We did not go for World Cup. Is that one achievement? Super Eagle, 2 times, back to back. We did not go. If you call that achievement, take away that one. January till August, Super Falcons. No WAFCON, no bronze medal, no silver medal, no qualification. We did not qualify for 2027 World Cup in Brazil. You call that achievement? WAFU under 20 B, we are beating. You call that achievement? From January till August, you call that achievement? Come on. You are giving him an award. What? I mean, Amisu, just look at it yourself.
Well, list of failures, yet no achievement. Let's move on to the Patrick Vieira as a head coach. Patrick Vieira is given the role of the head coach of Senegal football team, the men's Senegal football team.
Yeah, actually, it was a good team when I saw it. Anyway, it was a good team. You know, I think they in round of 32. They went out round of 32, yes, Senegal. And then last World Cup, they went 2022, round of 16. I think Senegalese, they've been doing well, you know, very well. You watch that ball, you love them. The last edition, they were the winners, crown winners. And then they left and round of 32. You are bringing in, well, Coach Pepe did very well.
Pepe Thiaw.
Yes, he did very well. He's a wonderful coach, excellent coach. Right. You know, I love him so much. When he's standing on the line, he knows what to do.
Patrick Vieira will bring the EPL talent and experience of other coaching activities where he done in France and in England.
Yes, actually, Patrick Vieira is a very good player. He was a good player and also a good coach. He's going to bring EPL to the style of Senegal because already they're doing it already. So I actually recommended him to be their coach. It was a wonderful thing for them, and I'm so happy that Patrick Vieira is going to Senegal.
Well, Patrick Vieira, head of coach in Senegal. Well, with this, we come to the end of a kickoff in the morning, cool. Let's meet by 11 to discuss extensively about other sports stories. Thank you for being with us. Goodbye for now.
Watch Skyline News on MyComSat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
You can watch Skyline News on Nightcomsat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app, available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
Watch Skyline News on Nightcomsat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
You can watch Skyline News on Nightcomsat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app, available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
Watch Skyline News on MyComSat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
can watch Skyline News on Nightcomsat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app, available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
Watch Skyline News on Nightcomsat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by streaming us live on the Free TV app, available for both iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Skyline TV News for breaking news, updates, and exclusive content. For more information, visit www.skylinetv.ng. Skyline News, beyond the headlines.
You can watch Skyline News on Nightcomsat and Free TV. Stay connected wherever you are by
Perhaps a couple of years ago, not so many residents of the Federal Capital Territory had thought that a day would come when flooding would add to the number of things they would have to worry about on a daily basis. But today, that is the reality that people across the city, for the most part at least, now grapple with. What are the factors driving flooding in not just Abuja, but across Nigeria? We'll hear about ecological issues from one city to another. In between all of this, NIMET is doing its own part. Of course, part of which is to, as it were, advance advisories in this regard, in many cases to state governments. But the question like we asked this morning is, are state governments listening to these advisories? Are they taking them seriously? What are some concrete steps, and towards what direction have these steps been taken by way of tackling these existential threats? This morning, we're joined by someone who perhaps is a little more concerned than some of us about this issue, and also has done his own bit to profile some of the solutions we can adopt going forward. Dr. Adedoyin Adeleke is the Executive Director, Green Growth Africa. He also co-chairs United Nations Independent Group Science. It's a pleasure to have you in the program this morning.
Thank you so much.
Great. I want us to begin. I mean, my colleague Moreno Haniel and I will spend the next few minutes to talk about this issue and maybe expand the conversation beyond Abuja. But as they say, charity begins at home, right? So we look at Abuja today. The Minister of the FCT has given a directive to say, look, you have to demolish buildings, structures, standing on waterways, what have you. Some people would say that is political, but we don't want to delve into the politics. Let's talk about the human angle elements. What are the factors driving flooding in the city?
Okay, so thank you so much. Generally, I think that we need to look at this thing a bit more at the helicopter level before we get specific.
Right.
Now, when you check developing nations, you find that our development thinking, policy, and practice is all about social and economic dimension. So when somebody's talking about development, he's looking at the indices around social development and also economic development. That's why you find things like socio-economic development, actually, you know. But where is the environmental pillar in this? Global development, local or anywhere, stands on 3 pillars: social, economic, and environment. Now, as you advance, if you advance on the economic side, you advance on social side, without a consideration for, the environmental dimension, you are definitely undermining the environment. You are undermining the environment, you are depleting the environment to advance this. And when this environmental pillar now begins to react, that's when we now begin to pay attention. And often, the reaction from the environmental dimension often eats up the gains of social and economic development. These are things we're discussing at the UN some months ago, July, at the ILO Political Forum. So it's a general thing. It's not only, by the way, it's actually one of the major factors of COVID-19 that we suffered from. Several people died, billions of dollars are lost, because we were trying to drive social and economic development. GDP was growing, all of that. All of a sudden, COVID reacted. The same thing with Ebola, the same thing. They are zoonotic diseases. All right, let's come to flooding. Now, the minister, for instance, let's not go too far. The minister, I watched him yesterday speaking that people are built on waterways. Right. I do not want to talk about politics of it. I'm not a politician. And the minister is appointed to serve in an office. I believe he's possibly doing his duty. Right. I don't know the politics behind it. I'm not interested. But what I'm interested is that I saw them, and I know the director of development control. I saw him there yesterday, and I saw them holding a paper. I believe it's the master plan. It's a page that covers that area. And they went down, and they were saying that buildings have been built on waterways. Right. So many questions to ask. Who approved those buildings? Did they follow? From what he was saying, apparently the building plan was not followed. You understand? And then people built on waterways. And what do you expect, sir? Now, when you're traveling, when you're driving across Abuja highways and all that, so many times you are at risk because somebody went to go and steal the cover for potholes and all that. Now, those covers were there for several reasons. One, to be able to access those channels. Right. Two, while it's still open, accessible, they cover so that dirt doesn't enter. When dirt begins to enter and block those ways,
get clogged.
Excuse me, what will we have to react? So the human angle side of it, I wouldn't say there is actually any other side of it. Because when people talk about climate change, they say, oh, there are natural causes. There are no natural causes, sir. In fact, there's something they call natural disaster. It doesn't exist. What we have is nature-based disaster. Go and check all the disasters that happen. Because when we say it's natural, something happened is natural. It's as though it is by nature. There is nothing we can do about it. It's we absolving ourselves from responsibility.
For perspective, for example, Doctor, it also means that earthquakes and landslides, they are not natural earthquakes.
If you go back into it, what happens with environmental issue? I think a media organization from Germany also called me yesterday or something. Now, the thing is this. Action and impact on environmental issue are always far apart in time and distance. The issues about climate change that we are facing in Nigeria today did not emanate from Nigeria. Right. Not from Africa. Most likely, by the time you trace it, there will be something that happened, maybe emissions from one country, developed country, maybe about 30, 40 years. So oftentimes when it happened here, we just see that, we didn't do anything to cause this thing. So it must have happened naturally. That's why we assume they are natural. No, they are caused by human action. When God created the earth, He created in a very balanced system. The emission that is being generated naturally by natural system is being taken in by natural system. Right. It is how we began to develop, looking at social and economic dimensions alone, forgetting about the environment, and actually the global development framework acknowledged it, because even the MDG itself, the MDG was more of social and economic issues. That's right. And then in 2015, they said, no, we have to take care of the environment. We have to bring that environment. So we are still suffering from issue about environment, take for instance climate change, are measured in 25 to 30 years. So we're still, what we're suffering from now is not the consequence of what is being done yesterday. That will come. We will know the result of what we're doing now, maybe in 30, 40 years time. But currently, what we're suffering from are consequences of things that have been done over the years.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. I'm sure Moreno has a question she wants to throw at you as well.
Yes, I have so many questions, but let's start with this one. Now, every other Abuja is facing this now. Every other state is facing. So are we saying, what is NIMET doing? Like, what are you people doing to educate the people concerning this thing? So as it stops, at least it minimizes. You know, especially in those areas that are not even informed about the causes of this flood. They just wake up in the morning, like, there was a state, they said, some people went to dig, they were looking for gold. I don't know how true, they were looking for gold. And somehow, something happened that was flood. So how much education do we give these people in those areas?
Okay, thank you so much. I'm smiling because the problem starts from this table. Let's excuse that I'm doing something because it's my profession. So let's not put me as a good person. It's just, let's assume it's my profession. That's why I'm doing something. So I'll just say all of us, all right? Now, let's start. And I said this table because I'll speak about the media. You know what we have observed? The only time that we get to discuss in the media from all TV stations in Nigeria is only when there's a crisis.
So you're saying the media is not proactive?
Not at all. Far from it. I can give you analysis. Take the most popular TV stations in Nigeria. Take the most popular programs. What's it about? About PDP fighting APC, APC fighting Accord, and not all those. Where the development discussions are missing in the media space completely. You know, and you know, that's one. And then the actors, most of the actors that are doing environmental issues in Nigeria are NGOs, not even government. How much support do we have from government? We must credit. Thank you for saying that. We must credit NIMET. NIMET is doing a lot because there is always some alert system. Whether they come early enough or not, different thing. Let's now go to the state. Excuse me. There's a fund called Ecological Fund in Nigeria. What are the governors doing with them? I think that needs to be examined. EFCC needs to do something to check what. Because we will, listen to me. You called me here now. If it's not me, next year, you will call somebody around this time.
Correctly.
Last year, you possibly call somebody. Check it. Almost around the same time. Always the same question. The response I'm giving here, I don't think they are so innovative or strange or whatever. Almost any expert you call possibly could give them. But what have we done with them? So we need to, and when you check even around the issues around policies and Nigeria has for me, my background actually originally was energy. So I can literally dictate the policies, Nigerian policies, structure, including institutional framework from my head, Nigeria. You know what I was can we shock you with? All the problem we have about energy in this country have been solved, but only on paper. We have policy documents.
So what's missing? Is it the political will?
One, the first issue is the education of our political actors, policymakers. Let me not political actors, policymakers. And I understand with them. And it's a peculiar issue with developing countries. Imagine that Tinubu is trying to solve, they just got some people that were kidnapped in Ogbomoso, they are still kidnapping people in Borno, they are still kidnapping, and then somebody go and tell the president about investment on climate, and then he's talking about -1 degree centigrade that the president cannot see, cannot understand it, and you're asking for $1 billion. That guy will not listen to you. And it's understandable because he has more of everyday problems that faces him than environmental issue that only happen once in a year. But if we come from a green growth perspective, and if you study the president very well, one common word with him, even before he became president, growth. Listen to him. Now, if we come, there are ways we can address environmental issue while also still addressing social and economic issue. And that's a concept called green growth.
All right.
Many times, because I advanced it in Nigeria, people think I coined the word. No, I didn't coin it. It's not my own innovation. It's a global development concept. But we are so far from it. So there are ways that almost every environmental problem you have. Okay, for instance, plastic building. I mean, you have plastic problems, all right?
Right.
Okay. What if I tell you I built a building, an ultra-modern building with waste plastic bottle? I'm working on another one in
Nigeria.
In Nigeria. Almost so many meters, even foreign. I've been there. You know, we can build with buildings. When you, with waste plastic bottle, when you build with them, you have a bulletproof building. You have a fireproof building, you have an earthquake-resistant building, and it's still cheaper. Now,
so why are we not exploring all of these possibilities?
Because the government is not educated about it. And that is why I'm sorry to offend you. I will blame you guys. You only talk about environmental issue only when there is a crisis, and you're talking about that crisis, and immediately after 5 minutes, you are gone. You go to your political stories again, which is no problem.
So we don't stay long enough on the stories.
You don't. There is no conceptual framing of environmental dimension in your media operations in Nigeria. I've done the study before. If you want the result, I'll give it to you. All the major media stations in Nigeria, their most popular programs, name it, you can think of them, you all know them. What are the most important topics that they all discuss? Governor is one part. It's not even governance issue. No, it's often political issue. And the reason is very clear, but I don't want to go into detail. I have the result if you want. Okay? So, the media needs to help the nation. It's not an help to environmental actors, sir. No, it's an help to the nation. Because we do reports. I've worked on several UN reports. My dear, policymakers don't read reports.
Even in this country.
Anyway, in developed nations, they do. I must admit that, because we have seen that. But in Nigeria, a minister will take a 100-page result. But he reads newspapers. He listens to you. You are the ones that can help to communicate those concepts out. And not just communicating from an environmental perspective. We will fail, sir. You come to Tinubu and you're discussing climate change -1 degree. We will fail, sir. Because the guy has so many everyday problems. Climate change does not appear to him as everyday. It's only one consequence once in a while. All right? But with the media understanding how to present, how to analyze environmental problems and solutions from a development point of view, we'll get all the governors and ministers.
I need to ask you this. Okay, I know Moreno wants to jump right there.
Okay,
go ahead.
You're an expert in this.
That's what I do.
And for a while.
Yeah.
For quite a while. Yeah. Now, many people don't know this. They're not educated in this aspect. They don't have this knowledge. Like, where I come from, I don't think they feel flood is a God-given thing. You know, yes.
In fact, it's even an avenue for you to do your waste disposal.
Yes, you know. So I'm just asking you now, as a person, since okay, we are not doing a good job, maybe we will repent of it. But now, what have you done in your own?
Yes.
In your own capacity, especially not in the urban areas, especially in those places that feel flood is God's own way of reducing the population of the world. So what have you done in those areas to make this knowledge be known?
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So I work at the intersection of science, policy, and practice. I have tangible physical projects that you can feel and touch in more than 10 countries in Africa. A lot of them in rural communities. All right? I have advocacies that reach more than 10 million people. All right? I have more than and I can provide them for you right away. I have more than 100 media advocacy on Nigerian newspapers. There is almost no newspapers that have not covered my work on these kind of things. So, some months ago, I was still in one of the ocean communities, coastal communities in Lagos. You understand? I was still in one of them, you know. We do a lot I didn't talk about it because I don't want to exempt myself from the problem. That's why I say all of us, rather, because we can take it as it's my work. So, you know, so we do a lot of advocacies. We try to reach. In fact, I tell you, we have programs with young people that are developing solutions for to these problems. I have projects. You want to see? I take you there now in Abuja. I have projects in Kaduna. I have projects inside IDB in Niger State. You understand? I have projects in Ibadan. You understand? And not only me. There are several environmental actors. I'm a green good expert, not just environmental actors. But there are several persons also that have developed solutions. But these guys that are doing this thing, sir, I often say something. The man that gave 2 billion naira to fund education has done well. Let's clap for him. But the man that is able to get the government to include education within their budget has done better. We will continue to do what we're doing. A lot of people are still active. However, we cannot really do the transformational change if the government does not support. And I'm leaving a question on the table. Please, government need to, and you possibly can do this advocacy. We need to understand what the governors have done with ecological fund.
I think I want to talk about ecological fund. Last I checked was sometime some 14, 15 years ago, in my home state, for example, we had a governor who said, well, there's this sort of arrangement where there's counterpart funding, all right? So the federal government makes a certain amount of money available, the state government supports it by way of counterpart funding, and then they're able to deal with issues around erosion, ecological problems, and what have you. What we have seen the last, to the best of my knowledge, 1 decade and counting, is we've seen where it has become politicized. Today, we understand EFCC is some past governors and asking them questions around what have you done with the monies meant for ecological issues. We have even seen where a sitting governor is accusing a former governor and a former commissioner for environment that both of you formed an alliance to eat, so to say, monies that were meant to address or tackle issues of ecology. My question to you at this point in time is, how do we build some sort of guardrails in such a way that these monies are insulated from the itchy fingers of politicians?
Thank you so much. And I will be very sincere with you. That is where people like me failed. Because the right answer to that, if I'll be very sincere with you, not saving my head, is that we, those of us that are environmental actors, that is where we are supposed to put pressure on the government. And I want to be sincere with you, I've not seen much of that. And I'm taking that away from here. I'm the one giving that. I'm taking that away from here. We'll do something around it.
Okay, we'll take you on that promise.
Yes, we'll do something around it. I'm going back to my team now, really, because to see if we can petition EFCC.
I think that would be a very brilliant start. But I also want to ask you a question. Will it not be, some viewers probably will say, unfair to government, especially the administration of Bola Tinubu, that look, this government may not be doing spectacularly well, but they've made some commendable efforts. For example, we now have an agency dedicated to addressing issues of climate, which I understand is domiciled in the office of the SGF, for example. We have some sort of...
Is that the NCC?
Exactly,
NCC, yeah.
Right.
It's been there before.
Yes, but it appears more than ever before. It's gaining traction, and it appears they are becoming a bit more prominent, exactly, active, and then there's some visibility to the work, for whatever it's worth, that they are doing. Yeah. Can we not also acknowledge that? Are we just going to sweep that all away?
No. I never meant by any means that the government is not doing anything.
Right.
I only explained the circumstance that governments find themselves. And when I talk about ecological front, I know more about the state level, I don't know what's happening further. So, of course, the federal government has been doing their bits in some respects. For instance, I know the lady that they chose for the NCC, this thing, she's very active, and I think she's come from the sector. Yes. Oftentimes, you find leaders that it's an agency that they have no background in. We still see that around now, but at least on climate issue, I think the government is doing some work. And look at what Wike did yesterday, for instance. Right. There was flooding, he went out himself and all that. It's already a political period, by the way. He could send the director of but he went out himself and do all of that. And honestly speaking, if we were to speak about Abuja alone, I'll give it to Wike. No story. You really,
as for the environment,
you may not like his politics. That's the politician. I'm not interested in that. But in terms of his actions, no, you can't floor him. So, very active, very committed, and he's doing he's not a government leadership that is just facing one sector, one line, and say we're developing roads and only roads. No, he's been doing a lot, so we need to comment that, really. And by the way, I'm not also saying that the state government are not doing anything. All right? The federal government, for instance, last 2 years, within the last 2 years, they started what we call the they're assessing the climate governance of each state. And I was with the state governor. I saw how their states ranked very low. I saw how angry they were. In fact, they actually mistook me as part of the contributors to the report because I visited them just a week after the report. So I had to explain to them. Now, that says one thing. That's they take it serious. So we are not in any way saying that the government is doing nothing. State, no. And there is no way I can sit in Abuja here and know what the governor of Borno is doing, no details about Plateau. No. But we're just speaking to the framing within development concept, not actions, but the concepts of how we govern completely. The question is, how can we integrate environmental thinking into our development policy and practice. We need to get that clear. We're not saying they're not doing anything. No. They're doing, a lot of them are doing a lot of stuff, Right. So, and by the way, there are so many things. And again, I also excuse the government from saying the fact that we environmental actors, the way we present environmental issues is purely environment. Yeah. And they have more everyday problems they are facing. So it's understandable that they will choose the way. And you find that typically in all other developing nations. But the way to get the government to act is to present them that, okay, you are trying to solve poverty problem. I have a solution that can help to solve flooding while solving poverty. You were talking about forestation or deforestation or something. And I said, I have a solution, an idea, I have a concept, I have a mobile app or something that can help us to address insecurity in those forests while also helping us to address them. So that is, by the time you go, I said, please, can you invest $1 billion on the -1 degree centigrade you're talking about on climate change? Right. I said, they will not listen. So it's not all the fault of the government. I also spoke about the media. It's not all like the fault of the government. I always said, those who lead us are not educated enough. And the fault is you and I. Do you get it?
Yes. All right, let's come back to Abuja, please. So now, with the climate change, that means we're expecting more rains with years to come. Now, what you, as an environmental expert, what do you advise besides the building? Let's assume all things considered, Wike we do what he knows how to do best, take care of the buildings on the waterways. What do you advise as an environmentalist that happens? Because we are going to see more rains in the coming years. So what do you advise to prevent such flooding?
Very simple. Let's be very strict with the master plan. All those things have been planned. All those ways have been planned within the building plan or whatever. Right. So by time, and like I say, I don't want to appear like a politician to be praising people in government so much. But again, you can't take it from Wike. You understand? When you are wrong, you are wrong. Many people have used class to cheat us in this nation. You just build because you are a senator, one governor.
You're a big man.
You're a big man, so to say. You go and build anywhere and nobody can stop anything, So let's go back to the master plan and be sure that whatever, if people that have built before the master plan were developed, I don't know, if they need to be compensated, let's compensate them. If somebody approved the building, because by the way, we need to check that. I don't think, most times people build, they find a way to get the approval, probably cornering.
Having built already.
You understand? So even when they want to build, just beg somebody that was, government go, government comes. Maybe if somebody has an approval, either illegally gotten or whatever, maybe if somebody in government approved for whatever. Right. Since we can't trace that, we should compensate them in a way, not to use, because again, I'm against using environmental goals to undermine social and economic goals as well. It will also backfire.
One doesn't need to suffer for the other.
No, they can all happen simultaneously. So, but while we're doing that, we need to educate our decision makers. And sincerely speaking, I cannot do it from my office. The best I can do is to shout on Facebook and Twitter. How many of them will see it? But they watch you every day. You need to help the nation. The media needs to help the nation to really look at your framing. I tell you, environmental stories really get traction. I know that's the problem. Right. All right, I have this report. Environmental issue really get traction, but in a way, we need to find a way. Possibly, one way to help is look at your most popular program, create 2-3 minutes out of it that people always watch. Policymakers, politicians will always watch because somebody will abuse them and they want to get right of reply. Put it in there. Just put 2 minutes and all that. That will be an help. And by the way, it also profiles your organization because this is your most popular program. Foreigners are watching, developed organizations are watching, and they see directly that no, these guys are really trying to promote this thing. Opportunities will come to you. There are media support all over the world. There are support. There are media journalists that are getting fellowships everywhere. Of course. So it also helps. But if we don't, and I don't also blame you totally. It's also, I'm sorry to say, you are educated in your field, but on this issue, most likely you are not.
So it still comes to
it's a lot of educating the right people. Those are the leverage points. And that's where the media comes.
We keep talking about young people going into tech now. I mean, this is 26 years into a new millennium. How do we bring that same quote unquote energy to issues of environment, especially as it has to do with our education policy? Can we find a way to talk it in such a way that it becomes an integral part of how we teach across our schools?
What if I tell you I've developed 2 mobile applications on this kind of thing, and one is to address one of these things? So we have the green. I mean, I'm not advertising. Let me not mention the name. That's why I don't look at advertising. We have a mobile app that was developed for people to capture documents and reports. In fact, I set up a media organization for this that operate like a TV station, even though we're not on DSTV or whatever. We call it Green Goat TV and Studios or something. Now, we have mobile app for people to have on their mobile app when they see an environmental issue, either it's a environmental crime, environmental violation, or not. Just snap it, and it comes to us at the situation room, and we analyze. So the problem with that is that when the funding that supported us suddenly got cut short, you understand, we couldn't advance further. Again, we'll come to it. What is the government doing with ecological fund? How many NGOs in Nigeria gets funded from the Nigerian?
That's where misconception again becomes a problem. There are people who just assume that ecological funds are meant for addressing issues of
problems,
gully erosion.
Now, hold on. I was going to address that when you spoke. People think about an ecological fund as something to address problems. No, sir. Why don't you build resilience ahead of problems? They will not happen. Why don't we can develop environmental capital. We have a very low, Nigeria, any country you see that have environmental problems definitely has very low environmental capital. So we can invest this fund rather than using it to react. Sorry, I'm a Christian. There is a book in the Bible called the Acts of the Apostles. What is there is not the react of the apostles. What we are doing in Nigeria is often to react, including the media, including myself. Okay? When something happens, when we react. But can we sit down and plan this thing to our program? That's the issue.
It brings us to the issue of Donald Trump's of this world. I've spoken to brilliant experts like yourself. They say, look, people like the US President, Donald Trump, are the ones making a bad case worse. They say if Trump, the leader of the free world, as we call him.
The leader what?
The free world.
Okay.
All right, can come out and say, look, I do not believe in the science of climate change. And you have those within his cycle saying the same thing. So are we not already in a bad place as it stands?
Okay, thank you so much. Yes. The Trump effect has a strong effect on our sector, all right, and not only on our sector. But I want to ask some few questions. How many years has Trump spent as president? He spent the first 4 years, and probably this is second year. Making 6 years. How many years have we had other US presidents that believed in it? How much investment had come into nations from the US on environmental issues over the years? What did you do with them? Organizing workshops every time? Instead of building capitals, we need to build environmental capital. Now, and that's the, and there are a lot. I was speaking with, I don't know whether I'm probably going to say this to mention it. The PH to a very prominent king in Nigeria, where some people where the experience of kidnapping at some point. And we're discussing about the forests where they kept those people. And I was telling them, my dear, there are lots of things that can be done. I said, I've never been there. I said, what is in that forest? What are they doing? It was just kept as ecological arrest or whatever. Oh my Jesus. When people talk about forestation as an environmental solution, it is, certainly. Let me establish that. Okay. But there are ways, but that is it's only an environmental value that currently is now becoming an hideout. That's environmental capital causing social problems.
Right.
All right. Whereas, that's because we went on the environmental side. But if we go on a green growth perspective, that same forest can be an ecological city. Trees are there, yeah. Instead of just leaving those land, we can get investment on them. They will still give the same carbon value they are giving, but they will not be hideout to criminals. So it's about our thinking. My organization, Green Goat Africa, what we do basically say rethink, reimagine African development. We need to rethink. That's why I'm not talking about actions. You see, I'm talking about our programming, our thinking completely. So there are lots that can be done. I mean, and then coming back to the US that you mentioned. So we address, okay, there have been years of what's his name now? Barack Obama, there are years of Joe Biden and all that. There are years of Bill Clinton who have supported the environment in any ways. All right. Now, if there are these few years that we have a bit of challenge, that's not the end of the world. That's not the downfall of the sector completely. And then let's come to it. Do you have an idea of how much European Union has been funding to environmental issues around the world?
And we don't see commensurate impacts.
Do you understand? No, I don't. They're doing a lot. But so I don't want to believe that one nation, one important, very important nation with huge capital is saying no to environment. Does not mean our downfall. I don't think so. But environmental organization in America still survived during the 4 years of, if you want me to give you contact, I'll give you contact. Major ones. They still survived. So, and by the way, you know, again, education. Now, the thing is, the way governance in America is structured is not like where the winner takes all, where the president speak and everybody comes. There are states that still support environmental issues in America.
So, regardless of Trump's position.
No, of course, there are states.
Just to follow up before Moreno jumps right in again, right? We have people like gentleman Al Gore, former vice president under Bill Clinton back in the day, who has thrown his life, for want of better words, into fighting issues around the environment. At what point can Africa boast of men like that? People who have been in politics, they know politics like the back of their hands, but they do not live in denial of the challenges posed by the environment as it stands today.
How many of the presidents are well educated about it? That's the question. I've met Al Gore before. All right. Now, it's about, let me tell you, I did my PhD in Italy. And the approach I used in my study is system dynamics. So I'm a system dynamist. Now, in this whole country, there is no university that I know that has a course on system thinking. All right. In the whole of Africa, I only found some works around South Africa. Can I shock you? The same thing I only knew at PhD level. They started using it to teach in America in secondary schools in 1950s.
And you learned that at the level of PhD.
So, now, these guys are way ahead. So the question is, how many of our leaders are really educated about this stuff? I'm sure, I tell you something, I'm sure if I have 5 minutes with Tinubu today, and I don't go the way we often go with environment of minus degree, 1 centigrade, and I go from a degree perspective, my dear, the man will buy my ideas right there and there. I'm not asking him to give him money, no, but he will buy that with Nigerian policy and governance structure. Now, but I must make exceptions and say that Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, I've met him, he's hosted me a couple of times, graciously. You need to get to OOPL, Olusegun Obasanjo
Library.
It's a different world entirely. The man spent a lot. He has over 2 megawatt of solar energy system installed by him.
Independent.
Yes. You need to know what 2 megawatt looks like. Abuja energy demand, 2 megawatts could actually take care of more than like an average town, if it's not industrial. Average town, 2 megawatts is nothing. And all my buildings in Nigeria are fully 100% powered by solar energy. My own energy system here in Asoko here is just, I think, less than 10 kilowatts of solar panel. Period. And I've never paid. But I don't know how to buy this thing. What's that thing called?
Token.
I've never bought it. I don't know how to load to meter. Not for once. Never. Now, if I'm using less than 10 kilowatt, I take care of my freezer, I take care of everything in the office. I take care of all these kind of things. All this lighting and everything. Power, AC, and all that. Now imagine a man that invested in more than 2 megawatts. Now, that's one. Go there, he invested in wind turbine. Like somebody, an hydropower, not wind turbine. An hydropower. The person managing the facility told me, said, this thing is only small water system we have here. He said, no, I just want to invest in it to demonstrate it. He's planted several, I can't remember the number of trees. I wanted to interview him at some point, but I think there was an issue around the media about him that time that I think he didn't want to grant him time at that period. But he's done that. Let's go to it seems as though Professor Yemi
Osinbajo
left the presidency only to be fighting environmental causes. He sits on global boards today on energy issues and environmental issues. Somebody very active on climate issue as well. So you will find that if you have learned anything about Obasanjo, Chief Obasanjo is an acute learner. I have text message he sent me one time when I visited him, and he replied me. I'm quoting. We will be, I think I proposed some ideas. I said, we will be happy to learn from you. When I was in an hotel when I received the text message after leaving him, and I was looking at me.
Teaching.
Forget about the science. Forget about to that man.
Right.
That's to tell you, he doesn't mind who you are. You understand? He's happy to learn. And he's not just learning, he wants to integrate it.
So the political class needs that sort of attitude.
Now, I'm coming somewhere. I want to establish a thin line. Yemi Osinbajo is a professor, highly learned. So you find that if you learn people that work with Obasanjo, they will tell you that Obasanjo, you don't send him a memo and you think he will just approve.
Right.
He will read it. You find people, the more our leaders are educated properly, not degrees, the more we will have them to react positively to this issue. And again, I come to it, the media, most of the education they will get will come from guys like you.
Okay, so now it brings me down here. Earlier I asked about you going to the suburbs. Now, since the education has to come from the top now, how do you intend, or how have you been educating the governments of states? Because now you have to, they don't know about the ferry heights and the 1.3 whatever, but they know, but when you tell them, if you put this is the repercussion. When you do this, there's a ripple effect. So I will advise that you do this. They understand that. So how do you go to these governments now? Because I'm sure in every state, there are agencies or there are appointments that have to do with the environment. So how do you're smiling, that means you've done that already. How do you go to those states and tell them how you will come to educate those ones that will take them down so that these things are effected in the states?
Okay, so thank you. Let me first of all correct something. Now, I have not also said that education must come from the policy to the policymakers first. No, it has to be both bottom up and top down, So we're doing at the rural level because human behavior will have to change. You understand? How many persons can police arrest when they begin to pour things in waterways and all of that? So it has to come from both sides. Now, in terms of engaging government, we have tried to engage government, and I must give kudos to Lagos State government. Very sincerely. Some 2024, I think in January, we've been quite close to the media. So they made a policy that they wanted to ban single-use plastic. I know that my environmentalist colleague was so happy.
Right.
But that was going to cause a problem. That policy would never have succeeded, no matter what. You know why? They pronounce the policy today, they are effecting it immediately. Now, do you know what proportion of Lagos population whose economy and livelihood depend on single-use plastic? So you want to sustain the environment, you undermine social and economic social and economy of people, you're going to have a repercussion. Buhari did it and it failed. I can give you fact and figures. That same policy, he enacted this some month, I think in May, before he left. By July, when Tinubu came in, he said he met with business leaders and they said, no, and he had to withdraw it. You cannot do environmental sustainability in a way that ample social and economic...
I'm sorry, Dr. Adeleke, but it appears that NAFDAC is doubling down with our policy.
Now, the thing is, no. By the way, I know a little bit about the DG of NAFDAC.
Right.
Now, I don't know, I'm not aware of what you're talking about, but let me give you an indication. In fact, NAFDAC is a good example of how to do this kind of policies. Now, I've forgotten the precise issue. They were going to enact a policy to stop a particular product. All right? Or either approach or a product, I can't remember precisely now. They announced 5 years ahead of time. What does that mean? So if you want to stop plastic pollution, you don't just tell, oh, we are stopping it today, and then Coca-Cola has invested billions, and you expect them to fold their arms. But there is policy sequencing, and there is also being able to leave time between policy pronouncement and implementation.
Right.
So that those who have invested, they have two options. That's why EPR, enforcement of extended producer responsibility, is very critical in Nigeria. Sorry, I have not answered the question. I'll still come back to it if we have time. The thing is, Lagos State, when Lagos State pronounced that policy, we wrote a statement, which I felt that if my environmentalist colleagues saw it, they would have fought me. I said, why can they say they are banning single-use plastic, and you were saying no, they should not do it? No. If they do it that way, it will fail. I said, please, do two things. One, you still do it, retract it. Now, either you leave a gap between, you are pronouncing it now, but to take effect maybe 1-2 years. Now, companies have two options. Either they now start reinventing their processes, or go into research to develop biodegradable alternatives to plastic. So they have time to plan. Many of these people got loans from China, from India, from everywhere. We cannot say because of environment we want to run them out of business. And sincerely speaking, a day after, I'm not sure whether it was they saw, but a day after the news was published, they retracted it. Though you now waited for about some time, and then the time is not so sufficient for me, but at least they reacted to it. And I was so happy. So again, you see that all this issue has to do with knowledge. Can I shock you on something? If I have time, I'll answer a question. There is nothing called waste. You say waste. Waste doesn't exist. Waste is only an expression of your limit of knowledge. You have used a particular commodity, and you don't know what next to do with what came out of it, and then you call it a waste. If I have more knowledge about that product,
you recycle,
or what I can do with it, it's not a waste to me. So waste is an expression of your limit, of the limitation of your knowledge. Now, to come to, I've forgotten what was the question you asked now.
Starting the knowledge from the government.
Starting the government from knowledge. I told you, I have more than, and you can check, www.thegreengold.org. Just go to media, you'll see it. All the list. I have more than 100 newspaper reports. Advocacies we have done via newspapers, including foreign media. That we have done. And we took this approach. In fact, by the way, I was working in the university before. My story went viral in 2023 when I returned to Nigeria. I returned on my own volition. Why people were jackpotting, it's online. The 35-year PhD that returned from Italy to Nigeria, it went viral. Now, the point is this. I came back because I wanted to advance this kind of thing. I was working in academia. And what I observed is that, a lot of people have PhDs. I'm not so unique in the academia. I will just be adding to the papers. And most times, how many science have you read in the last 2 years? You understand? We're just recycling knowledge within ourselves in the academia. Okay. Somebody needs to stand up from the laboratory who understand these scientific papers to go and interpret them in ways that those who will implement the knowledge can do. And that's what I do. That's why I say I work at the interface of science, policy, and practice. Because by my background as an academia researcher, I have known about science, I can interpret some of this information, and we'll try to now leverage platforms that the government and policymakers will see. So we have done a lot around that. I told you I've visited governors, and we're working with the foundation, a German foundation, Erin Bosch Foundation, Erin Bosch Foundation in Nigeria, now to engage state governments on building with waste plastic bottle. We'll be writing to state governments this week.
I'm afraid that's the much time we allow us, but this has become very enlightening, quite frankly, because the whole time, even with this, we're still scratching the surface. But the consolation prize we find is that we are moving forward, at least one step at a time. And we do hope that beyond this conversation on live television, we're able to tweak, for want of better words, our attitude towards the environment and take responsibility individually and collectively. We'd like to say a big thank you to you, Dr. Adedoyin Adeleke. Is the Executive Director, Green Growth Africa. He's also co-chair, United Nations Independent Group Scientists. Well, what can we say? The conversation is to continue. But we'd like to thank you very especially, our viewers in Nigeria and across the world, for taking your time to watch this program today. I'm Uyi Agmofebe.
And I'm Moreno Haniel. Thank you for staying with us, and do have a very lovely day.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure always.
Yeah.